Well, it's June 19th or 20th. I lost track. And right out straight, working around the clock. I've been tagging and hog ringing the ghost vents and all these newer traps. Well, I say new, everything's between 2 and 5 years old. And I'm pretty easy on my gear most of the time, fishing up on the mud in the bay, so I don't take too many beatings, so my gear's in good shape. I do have some older ones right here, a little secondhand shit, and I just keep those for the shitholes where all the boat traffic is. You know, if I lose one, oh well, you know, yeah, it's still money, your buoy and rope and trap's worth something, but you know, it ain't like losing, every time you lose a trap like this, trap like that, you know, goes for probably about close to 90 bucks now. And 12 fathom rope and a 5-foot trawl buoy like the ones I put together. You're talking at least 125, 130 bucks if you lose one. So once in a great while you'll get one back. Someone might hook onto it. You know, you can drag for it, and it's like a needle in a haystack. But you get one now and then. But yeah, so I do keep those old ones just for places where they get run over a lot. And some of that's some of the best fishing areas. Right between the end of Potts Point and the north end of Haskell's Island, all that bottom in there, some real sharp bottom, and real ledgy, and it's all full of shoals and edges, and Jesus, that's some good fishing in there. So, but there's one hell of a lot of boat traffic goes through that channel, so that's where those go, and all this stuff goes in the bay and up along the shores where, you know, it's a little bit, a lot less boat traffic, and don't lose anywhere near as much gear. So last year I think I only lost about 7 or 8 traps, so that wasn't too bad. Yeah, so I just got this new trailer. It cost me $3 grand. I had one like it. I bought back in 2000 for $1,000. I liked it better. It was designed a little bit better. And I had it for all these years. And a couple years ago, I hit the Bailey Island Bridge with it. It's a wicked narrow bridge. And they did a lot of work on it, and they say it's still the same width. Well, it might be, but they put up a couple of cement curbings on it, and I was over just about probably an inch too far on this side, and I smashed the fender all to hell, blew out the rim, you know, blew out the tire, busted the rim all to hell, bent the axle. So shit, you know, I had all the traps staked and tied down good, so they shifted, but they didn't go anywhere. I wasn't going that fast. So had a new axle put on, new rim, new tire, and I've been using it. But Christ, it was eating tires like hell, so I think, you know, everything got out of square because the trailer was going this way and the tires were going that way. And I put on a set of new tires every year, and they were worn right down to the canvas. I even blew one. So I took it into the garage down here and see what they had to say, and they measured it and said nothing's out of square and everything is good. And they said, well, we'll just put in either new leaf spring bushings or new leaf springs. And you know, it wasn't supposed to cost that much. Well, the fucking thing's been sitting down there for a year now. Oh, we'll get to it next week. Oh, a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, a couple of weeks. I got a couple jobs I gotta get done, and I'll pull it in here and we'll start taking things apart, and I'll get it right done for you. You know, a couple of weeks later, I go in again. Nothing. So I said, fuck it. God damn it. I gotta have my trailer. I could have taken it somewhere else. There's a place about 25, 30 miles from here that sells these things and works on them, but they're a fortune. It would have cost half as much to fix that as it would have been to buy this new one. So, at least. So, yeah, there are a bunch of crooks up there. So I get this new one down the feed store and hardware store, where I get a lot of stuff. And it was a good price. You know, it's good rugged tires, rugged trailer, pressure treated 2x8. Yeah, I like my other one a little bit better. It had a rim around it about that high, and I had more places to tie on to, but you know, the way things were laid out, like, I'll get used to this. It's nice, it's new. It'll go me the rest of my career, and I just got to be a little bit more careful on that bridge. I've been over that bridge 1,000 times and never had any trouble since they put that new goddamn curbing in. So I just, as long as I watch for that, I'm all right. But so yeah, I got 450 traps in the well, I got 450 traps. I got 200 or so in the water right now. I'll be able to get 56 on this trailer. I'll put 4 in the back of the truck, make it 60, and I'll bring some rope and buoys down along with it. I load it during the daytime, tie everything all down, and I hook onto it at night around 10, 11 o'clock, so I don't get down there till midnight. And nobody's around the wharf, nobody's getting in each other's way. I can work. It's a lot cooler, you know, because we've been having some hot summer days here, and you know, I can get down there and take my time and stack them all right where I want them, and they're right there, and I can go down the next day and start setting. And see, I've got 14 down there already. I set, I got about 100 old ones, and I set everything except for those and these. These I'm going to keep till later in the fall. I might just I might take a few and put them in those shitholes, like you say, but I set a lot of those in those places, the bigger ones. I like to have all one size trap. They stack better that way. It doesn't screw up my pile and stuff like that. These are 15 high, 24 wide, and all of my traps are that size except those oddball 13 and a half 21s. They just kind of screw up my pile, so I'm going to deal with those later on. But so this is the last of the old ones I got, and I'll bring those down tonight. And I've got 14 of them on the float. I'm going to set those first because I have been setting those in a certain area, 2 different areas, and get that out of the way. Then all of this new stuff in these 2 rows is are going in afterward. So they're all in good shape. I haven't found anything yet. I got one with a pulled corner and a middle head, and one that got a little chafe and needs a new piece of bungee, but that's it so far. Nothing serious. So deal with that later. I got plenty of traps, enough to keep me busy. 130, 135 is a long day. You know, it's a full day for me. I get down the wharf at around 5:30, and I bait up, tie up to my float, fill all my bait bags for the day. Some guys don't do that. Some fill them as they go along, but why drift around burning gas, listening to your hauling motor? It's like listening to a lawnmower all day long. You know, get it done first, put them in your totes, stack them on the boat, go out and start hauling. And so that's what I do every day. So I usually leave my float by 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I haul all day long till I'm usually the last boat in, 3:30, 4 o'clock, because, you know, fishing them on singles, one buoy to a trap takes a long time, plus I go alone, and that's the way I like to do it, because the help out there sucks. Nobody wants to work, and nobody even knows how to work. This is too much for them, too hard. They can't learn it. You know, they're wiped out after 2 hours of it. You know, of course I can work circles around any 20-year-old nowadays. So this is the pussified generation. But even in the past, you know, back in the 90s when I had a big boat and 900 traps, I went through 51 stern men in 6 years, anywhere between 18 years old and 50 years old. Every one of them. There was a few that were pretty good workers, but they were undependable. They were a bunch of druggies and drunks. And when they did work, all they did was complain about their dysfunctional lifestyle and blah, 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 blah all day long. I don't give a shit about that. I just want to concentrate on fishing. And, you know, then they'd want to borrow money, and they're always broke. And they needed a ride here, needed a ride there, because none of them could hold a driver's license or a vehicle, because they can't manage money and they can't You know, always getting caught for driving drunk. So I put up with that for 6 years. Got hating fishing so bad because of that I sold my boat, all my traps, everything. Got out of it for a year, and I missed the hell out of it. And I said, I'm going back, but I'm doing it right. I'm doing it my way. I'm getting a small boat, and I'm going to fish half the traps, and I'm going to go alone. Yeah, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And just for the hell of it. You know, not that I needed to. I had some kid that I know since he was about 8 years old. Always into birds, you know, and he bought some birds from me, you know, through the years, and started fishing on his own, clueless as to what he was doing. And so I took him out with me, and he wanted to work, and he could. So I said, all right, you know, I paid him generous, more than fair. And he's like a bull in a china closet, slatting everything around, smashing this, smashing awful hard on the gear, hard on the boat, wore out all my brushes, broke my bait needles, broke my banda, broke, you know, he just beat up the boat, my old boat. And then, oh well, I had a falling out with him at the, I think I wrote a post on it, talked about him on my YouTube page anyway, but just another example. And you wouldn't think it would be like that way, because he's a farm kid, born and brought up on a farm, but in another way he was too sheltered, you know, brought up by just his mother and his sisters, and, you know, no father around, and mother's one of those hippie granolas, you know, all pierced up with nose rings and pierced this and tattooed that she brought them all up, you know, just eating whole foods. And, you know, the kid never had a can of soda in his life. I mean, which is good, you know. I kind of wish maybe I did that, but he's so goddamn sheltered. That's the point. That he didn't know how to stick up for himself. And the guys down there, he bought a boat just like mine. He got a loan for it, and he had an $1,800 a month payment 6 months out of the year. And he bought more traps, and he started fishing. And then the young guys down where he fished started getting jealous of him, because they're a bunch of losers. And they started cutting his traps, whacking the heads out of them, just cutting them off, hauling them, stealing lobsters, you know, and then slashing the heads. So I told him, I said, Jesus Christ, boy, stand up for yourself. I said, those guys are a bunch of little fucking pussies. They're just a bunch of cowards. Go down there and, you know, I said, if it was me, I'd be waiting on the float for them at the end of the day to come in. And I'd make them spill the beans. Which one of you did it, or how many of you did it? And then I'd pound the piss out of them. You know, I'd mop the floor with every single goddamn one of them. And he was mad, and he kind of liked to have done something like that. And that's when I took him up in the garage and showed him some moves on the heavy bag. And so I said, you know, I was really, you know, laying into that bag and talking at the same time. I said, now kid, you know, get him up, shove him against a bait shed, and bang, 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 you know, hit him, you know, 1, 2, 3, jab right hand, left hook, and then go to the body, you know, smash that fucking head against the side of the bait shed, break the fucking nose, smash the guy, dot the fucking eyes up. You know, I said, that's what I'd do to him. That's what most guys would do to him, if they can take him. I told him to film it, to watch it, you know what, and so he could learn how to fight, and learn how to box, and learn how to punch. Big, long, lanky, skinny kid, he should have some power, you know. And so I could see out of the corner of my eyes that he was just about crying. He looked sick. He looked like he was going to throw up. So he just clammed up and he left. And he went home, and I heard from him a couple days later. Well, I showed the video to my friends, and well, they were all offended, and we know other friends will be offended, and I can't. Yeah, and I told him to put it on my Facebook page for me. I can't share this on Facebook. I would get kicked off. Little sissy. I said, you know, I'm so God. I told him I'm fucking disappointed in you. I said you're not a man. You're a fucking mouse. And another thing too. I had him put the gloves on and try hitting the heavy bag. Oh my God, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. The guy, you know, he's 19 years old and didn't even know how to make a fist. I mean, I know, honest to Christ, I know of girls up in the gym up in Lewiston, 12 years old, that would destroy him. I mean, destroy him. I mean, this kid did, his stance, I tried to show him, it was pathetic. I never seen anything so fucking pitiful in my life. Most girls can fight better than that kid, even if they didn't box. I mean, he is a total pussy. So I took him anyway, and yeah, we had that falling out about that. I told him off after that. I told him what a wuss he is, and he says, and his friends, and he says,
it's not my place to judge them, so I won't make fun of them. I can't, and I won't.
And I said, boy, that's a fucking fag answer. Jesus Christ. I mean, so I really laid into him and told him, you know, stay on his farm with mommy and his sisters, and you know, you better sell your boat and get out of it, because this is a man's business, it's not for a mouse. And instead of saying, you know, fuck you, I'm staying into it and I'm gonna go stick up myself, no, he sold his boat, sold his gear, and he's done. So good riddance, fucking sissy. Then another girl I took, she's well, she used to go with her uncle down there, which is an old time. He's in his 80s. He just retired this year, but same thing. She was about 21, 22 years old. She was hot. That was the only reason I took her. You know, but same thing. Show up late every day. Always an excuse. Oh, geez, there was a traffic jam. Oh, I got stuck behind some old lady in front of me. Oh, this or that. Come on, you know, reeking of booze still from partying all fucking night the night before, yawning all day, fucking smoking cigarettes, fucking, you know, all the time. Jesus, it's just, didn't do things the way I liked, did it a grandfather's way, didn't tie the bait lines back the way I wanted, didn't close the, you know, I like these, on these yellow traps, I like the bungee cord hooked 2 meshes back from the door. On my green ones, I like them 4, just because of the tightness of the bungee cord. And you know, she'd do it all over the place, and she'd go up through the bridge to tie the bait line back, and you know, all I go around is like go around counterclockwise and make a hitch and bang, just like that. So when I'd haul a trap aboard, I'd have to fiddle fuck with it to try to get, Jesus, it's, I tell her to put 2 pogies to a bag and 4 pieces of herring. Well, of course, you'd have 1 pogie and 10 pieces of fucking herring, or just the opposite, 3 pogies and 2 pieces of herring, you know, just 2 fish, you know, it's just, and then she didn't show up one day, and then she just never showed up at all. So I said, you know, if she came back, I would have told her to take a fucking hike, you know. So yeah, so that's what's out there for help nowadays. That's the cream of the crop. So that's why I go alone, and I like it, and everything gets done right. These people can't even band a lobster right. Guys breaking the claws, dropping the lobsters, getting bit all the time. Just, it's just pitiful. It's fucking pathetic. So yeah, so I gotta finish loading this trailer. I'm going through these. I got 1 more row to do. I gotta make up. This is laid out a little different than my other one, so I gotta make a piece of rope that goes from that bracket to the one over there with an overhand knot and a loop, so I can go right through the middle of that row, and then I'll make another one for here, I guess, and then I'll stake the fronts of them. I put a PVC